The September What's Neat starts right now!
The What's Neat Show is sponsored by Lombard Hobbies, your value hobby shop for over 40 years of modelers helping modelers. Big inventory, value pricing, fast shipping, and great service.
And by Bachmann Trains. Now that's the way to run a railroad. Check out their website at bachmanntrains.com.
And thank you for helping us support the best hobby in the world.
This is What's Neat for September 2022. I'm your host, Ken Patterson, and this month we cover the St. Louis RPM. That's the Railroad Prototype Modelers Meet that was in Collinsville, Illinois. An absolutely amazing show with a lot of guests, interviews, modelers, manufacturers. The one thing about this show is that we had a lot of mom and pop new startup companies, which we will also talk to on this show. But first, I'm standing here with Larry Harrington from Bachmann Industries, all the way from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And Larry's going to tell us in this month's video some of the amazing new products from Bachmann Industries. Hey, Larry.
Hey, Ken, how are you doing today?
It's awesome to
Good
see you in person.
Yeah, instead of Skype all the time. So yeah, we're here in the NMRA National Convention, National Train Show, and we got our brand new announcements for a lot of new products in there. Some of those which we don't have samples for yet, but we do have a good number of items that we can show you here at the show. So starting off, we really have gone to make some new large-scale items in 1 to 29th scale. We just announced at the show we have the 100-ton Bethlehem steel hoppers, and they have those in 4 different road names.
That's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? We did Philadelphia, Pennsylvania Power and Light. It's a really neat paint scheme. Plus some other favorites, the CSX, Union Pacific, and Pennsylvania.
Very cool.
We have the Emd train device here, which we've shown before, but I think that's maybe the first time we've shown an operating sample that will operate on battery or track power or both.
That's
so
smart.
if you're running track power and you stop the train, the light still comes on. It switches back and forth automatically between track power and battery.
That's awesome.
The new diesel large-scale announcement is the GP40. People have been requesting this one for a while. We will have that in 4 road names. That will be, let me get my brochure here out here to remind me. CSX, the Norfolk Southern scene here, Santa Fe, and Union Pacific.
That's beautiful.
And I'll have the non-proprietary interface board that allows you to put DCC or radio control, battery, all that stuff if you want to do it, depending on if you run, track power, whatever. It's got all the options there for you to do that. So. We announced previously the Evans car with and the train device on it, but we're also going to have them without the end of train device on them. So you can expand your fleet. It's easy to do since we just put this regular truck on instead of the end train device. Yeah.
The Evans car is very beautiful.
And one road name that we don't have here is going to be at the Tropicana Blue Box Car. So with the silver roof, a very, very striking paint scheme.
I like that rail box.
The rail box is nice. And there's the Santa Fe.
Beautiful.
And then the Norfolk Southern as well.
Nice work, Larry.
Okay, thank you.
Larry, it's so exciting. Now you've got some HO scale models you want to talk about as well.
Yes, we actually have, we announced our new chemical tank car. Let me show you that here. This is we have 2 versions of this. This is the small dome version. And we'll have this in 4 total road names. There'll be 2 small dome versions and 2 large dome versions. I'm going to get this. And here's the large dome version. So it's basically the cars are the same other than that. But it has a nice catwalk area at the top, wire handrails, safety
That's
rails
nice.
around the top. It's a Silver Series car with metal couplers, metal wheels, and then our Mark II couplers that we use on all of our Silver Series rolling
Very
stock.
cool.
So that'll be in 4 different road names. And also we're going to go to N scale. If you see here, we have our HO girder bridge, and we got our shrink ray out and made it an N scale now.
Nice.
So
you can just drop that into your layout.
yes, exactly. It's
That's
made with
perfect.
the easy track connectors, so it will easily just go together. And if you don't have our easy track system, it's compatible with anything with rail joiners. So all that you have to do is clip off the 2 little attachments there, and you plug it into whatever track system you're using. So,
That's very cool.
so
Larry, I always love it when you show the viewers of What's Neat all the new products every month. It's enjoyable to see and be the first kid on the block to see it.
I always get to see them first, then you get to see them second.
And so with that, now let's continue on with the rest of this September What's Neat. For this month's What's Neat, we are at the 15th annual Railroad Prototype Modelers Meet here in St. Louis, actually in Collinsville, Illinois. And with me, I've got Joshua Sugarfire Barton, James Regier, and Mike Buddy from the podcast crew. And we are absolutely enjoying this show. 38,000 square feet this year. It's the most square footage ever. And Joshua, there's some numbers and a lot of exciting stuff. And I asked you last year, have you spent any money?
Of course I have spent money. There's 115 tables of models to see too, and 56 vendors. Of course I'm going to spend my money. That's a silly question.
There's a table full of Santa Fe stuff literally staring me in the face
behind us.
right now.
I
I know, those are $100 a locomotive too.
They're beautiful.
I know. There's a lot of exciting things going on, and for this video, we've got scheduled about 11 different interviews with mom and pop and new manufacturers, and some of the staples that you've seen in the past on the show. Plus, there's some amazing layouts here this year. Mike, what do you think?
I haven't seen any of the layouts. I've just been walking around looking at the vendors and mainly the models. But yeah, there's a lot of models here. That's the main thing I come for, is seeing the models.
One thing that seems very prevalent this year is there's a lot of brand new spring-up companies printing 3D models. James, have you discovered that?
I've definitely seen a lot of them. I'm not one of them yet.
Okay, that day's coming, right?
Maybe, yeah.
So with us, guys, get excited, sit back, get a cup of coffee, and enjoy this What's Neat show, the RPM meet here in Collinsville, Illinois.
I'm here with Jimmy Pottsberg from JP3D, and we're checking out some of his new amazing things. And this is longer than I am. I can't believe about it. Tell us a little bit about this, Jimmy.
So this is my modular terminal elevator, almost 8 feet long. So the basic unit is the center tower section and in 2 end sections. And then as thick as your wallet is, you just start adding expansion units, and I can make it go from one side of the room to the other. It's endless. But
Wow, and you offer these in all different kinds of sizes. So if I'm O scale, or S scale, or HO, how small do you go? Z scale?
I've got Z scale stuff. I've got some Z.
He has Z scale stuff, everybody.
Yep.
Check him out. Let's talk about these a little bit. This is Kirkwood Station in Kirkwood, Missouri.
Down in front there, yes, is the Kirkwood station that I had hoped to get together for the show. Didn't quite make it, but that's okay. People that know what Kirkwood is can see and pick that out. I'm close to being done. It's a great model, exciting model, great looking model, I think. And I think a lot of people are really excited about it, so I'm looking forward to it.
And then I love these corrugated buildings here. You have that great curve in them that you have to be at the right angle to see, but these are very, very neat and very in-depth.
That's called a Balin building, made by Balin Corporation. They're flat green storage buildings, what they consider them, but yeah, beautiful looking buildings. So there's an S scale, HO, N, and Z scale model of those.
Wow, that really shows the depth of what you can get out of one of these 3D printers. These are all amazing. What other new stuff do you have over here?
One thing I forgot to tell you, this modular terminal elevator that you see over here, it's almost 8 foot long, 41 days on a printer. That's print time.
Wow.
41 days, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So one of my new creations, special project for a gentleman, is this elevator here, this HO scale. Actually an elevator out of Kansas City, Kansas. Was originally built in 1919. It's made out of cement block. The silos over here. The building, the center tower section, first story and a half is brick, and then cement block on up. You don't see many of these. The first one I've ever seen. I think they couldn't stand up to all the pressure of the grain and stuff like that, and so they've been replaced. And then when they added on to it, they added the standard silos from a smooth silo.
The amount of texture difference in between these, I'm not sure if you can get those on camera, but it's amazing what these 3D printers are kicking out. So tell me about this one down here.
This little elevator in the corner, what do you do in the corner of your room? Tough thing to fill. How do you fill that? That's the Josh Barton corner elevator. So when I was down to visit a while back, Josh spotted my flat elevator and said, "What is that, a corner elevator?" And I said, "No, it's not, but I just got an idea." So thanks to Josh Barton, you have a corner elevator now that I 3D print.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. And your things are all so amazing. What's the website that they can check all your stuff out at?
I'm at jp3dmodels.com.
Thanks for letting me interview. I appreciate you.
It's great. Thanks. Great having you guys at the show to spread the word. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm standing here with Pete Monger. You remember his diorama last year with the Walthers Motel and the Atlas Lumber Yards and all the beautiful scenery. But this year, Pete, you've brought something absolutely brand new with you. Describe to us what you've got.
Well, thanks, Ken. It's nice to be with you and to see you again this year. Thanks for doing this for all of us. I'm really enjoying the expanded format here. We got a little more room for models and more historical societies and dealers this year. It's pretty impressive.
We do.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
We're fortunate, aren't we?
Yes, best hobby in the world. And this is a great venue to have this show at.
It really is. But anyways, so I've kind of created something this time that I wanted to be able to feature those beautiful tangent high cubes that David's crew has spoiled us with. And then, Intermountains brought those steel coil cars back out, and it kind of fits the era that I'm after with the 70s.
Right.
So I wanted to do something that kind of had an automotive industry theme that would allow me to display some of those cars. And so that's what this is. So we've got an old Walthers kit here that was like the Arnold's Drive-In from the Happy Days show. Remember that, Ken?
Yes.
With the Fonz and Richie and all those guys. And I redid that as a pizza place, and it's kind of an internal thing for me because I named it after my mom, Trish's Pizza.
Okay.
She was great with the way she would make pizza for my high school buddies and I, so this is kind of in memory of my mom. The Detroit Toledo Shoreline is my area. I live in Toledo, and that was a bridge line with Detroit. So it gives me an opportunity to represent the stuff I saw in my hometown with automobile stuff being brought south through my town.
Sure.
So, and we got an Atlas caboose and a couple of tangent high cubes from David's Tangent Company, and then we've got the steel coil cars. And, the key to these things, and Ken, you know this because you've kind of schooled us on all this, the weathering can make a difference.
Yes.
And, Steve Hurd is a good friend of mine from just south of me who's here, and Joel Nicodemus, they weather those cars for me, and it really makes all the difference in the world. So I view the Dio as kind of being a canvas to display some of their stuff.
It is.
And then we've got a Walthers, I can't remember if this is maybe the grocery warehouse kit from about 5 years ago, and I kit bashed 2 of those.
That's a centerpiece of this diorama.
That's kind of the focus, and I call that Scarlet Fire. That's the name of the steel company. I listen to some Jerry Garcia music, and that for deadheads out there, they'll know that the combination was Scarlet Begonias and Fire in a Mountain. They call it Scarlet Fire, so I borrowed that. And then at this end, we've got the west end. This is the east end of Scarlet Fire. with more of the tangent high cubes and the intermountain coil cars.
Okay.
And those wonderful Walthers SW7s also painted in the Detroit Toledo Shoreline. And then these build-up kits that Woodland Scenics is doing, it's really hard to ignore them being build-ups.
Yes.
Because, you know, we try so hard to try to duplicate these things, and it's amazing what they're cranking out with some of these pre-manufactured buildings.
Right.
I mean, look at the Uncle Sam on the side of that brick wall.
Right.
Think how hard it would be to do that with decals and Solvaset and weathering chalk and all that stuff. So
And so that was already on the building.
that's already on the building.
That's
and
amazing.
It's just really a
Your
nice,
trees are
a nice
beautiful.
model.
Tell me about the
Thank you.
trees.
Those are just Scenic Express. And
Okay.
I kind of choose to go a different way with the color of the tree than most of the modelers do. We have a tendency to go with the dark green look.
Yes.
But you know, where I live, I sure like that spring look, and that green actually is very, very accurate of
Okay.
the way that the trees look in my part of Ohio in the first half of the year. So, I think it kind of brings life to the module itself when you're using static grass. So,
Pete, it's absolutely beautiful. Just like last year's diorama, I can tell you honestly have a passion, and all of the different things that you've brought into this from your childhood and your memories. It's amazing the way you do that. You weave it in.
Well, thank you, Ken. I appreciate those comments, and that's why one of the reasons why this hobby is the greatest hobby in the world. We get to kind of grow up from where we were when we were little kids. So
That's it.
from Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars to this, right?
Amen.
All right.
Pete, thank you so much. It's awesome to have you on the show again.
Thank you, Ken.
I'm standing here with Steve Day from Lundy Studios. We're all so familiar with that wonderful company that gave us design preservation and Magnuson models and so many of the structures that we have on our beloved layouts. Steve, it's absolutely a pleasure to meet you.
Honors to you, sir.
And I want to tell you what, we went to Vic Smith's layout last night and saw an amazing
layout.
all those buildings.
I'm blown away.
Right.
It was amazing.
And a lot of those buildings are the ones that you guys produce and manufacture.
Absolutely.
And he's taken them to an nth degree and just tricked them out with detail.
Absolutely.
And he was featured on the What's Neat show back in July, and it was awesome
Which I
to
saw,
see
by
that.
the way, and then I saw it in person.
I
My
know,
goodness.
right?
Oh, wow.
So you brought some wonderful buildings to share with all the viewers here
Yes.
and at the RPM meet.
Right.
How has the show been for you?
Show's been great. This is my first time being here, and I heard about it, I read about it, and what I love about it is this show is with modelers, for modelers, and about modelers. We display our stuff out on the table. Everybody walks around, you get new ideas, there's clinics here, so even a guy like me can learn how to up his game.
That's awesome. So tell us, what did you bring today to share with the viewers?
Okay, we got a couple of things here. These are all in scale, which is what I do. These are three of the buildings that we are currently putting out. You have the Bates Motel. Next to it, you have Butcher's Block. And then next to that is the Blair Trust.
That's a beautiful
Now, those
structure.
buildings are all made here in the U.S., right in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. They are resin cast, and Bob does all the design of the buildings. He does everything with a milling machine. There's no computerized anything in there.
Okay.
And we cast all of the stuff right there in the shop. Next to that, we have our Snails Ways bus station. This is one of our best-selling kits. And what I did in this particular model, I tried to give it that Art Deco look. Everything you see there comes with the kit, with the exception of the vehicles and the people, but you get the stand, you get the back retaining wall, and there's even a Coke machine back where the bus is parked.
Wow.
And then next to that, we have our smallest little building, which is the Kelly's Cafe. Now we also offer that all of those buildings with the exception of the bus station in HO as well.
Okay.
So we do HO and N scale. Now we've got 2 new buildings coming out that you guys haven't seen yet, but will be at the NMRA Nationals.
Okay.
And in the back here, we've got a couple of Walters kits. We've got the new distribution center, and then we have the Red Wing building here. I put that together a while ago, and then we've got the Rick's Mac building that goes together really well. And then again, when you watch Ken Patterson's What's Neat This Week in Model Railroading, you get inspired. I saw the young man that did the DOD train.
Yes.
And I had to do one myself.
In N scale.
In N scale. So what you do is you take HO stuff, you put it in really hot water, it shrinks down.
Okay. R. That's absolutely amazing.
So now, one of the things I wanted to do here on camera live, so we've got witnesses.
Okay.
All right. Because Ken does a little bit of N scale, and I'm an N scaler, and we want to push that up a little bit.
Okay.
Me and the guys over at Lundy Studios and Key Rail Industries, we want to present you with 2 buildings over here. We've got Butcher's Block, and we've got the Kelly's Cafe already put together, already weathered a little bit, so you could just plan them on the layout.
Okay.
And then we've got the complete model kits as well. So if you guys want to put them together or have me come down put them together or we throw them at a wall, whatever.
Okay.
Because
well, that's
basically,
awesome.
You can just pour some glue in a box, shake it up, you got a model kit.
There you go. That's how it used to be with the blue boxes. Well, that's really cool, Steve. Thank you so much for this
You're
presentation. We will put those on the N-scale layout. Make you proud.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
I always say it all the time. This is the best hobby in the world. And I haven't said this on this show yet. It's because of folks just like you.
See? And what do we say after that? Rock and roll, baby.
Rock and roll. I'm standing here with Dan Darnell and Matt Gentry of Rapido Trains out of beautiful Canada. And they've got a lot of new products here at the RPM meet that are seen for the very first time. In fact, Matt told me a few minutes ago, some of these models just showed up yesterday morning. So it's the first time you've seen them as well.
It is.
Starting with you, Dan,
Right.
Tell us about some of these wonderful models.
Well, starting off here, we got our new E8 sample. And this one is actually set up for the anniversary edition in the special collector's case. And we will have all the other flavors coming later on.
Okay.
Then we move on to our new Chevy Caprices, which I think you've already reviewed and whatnot.
Yes, Mike Buddy loves those.
Yeah, and we're working on a few other licenses, so we will have more in the future.
Okay.
On that. And we move on to the M420s here. We're redoing the Canadian National version as the rebuilds, but we're also adding Iowa Interstate and Providence and Worcester. So those guys will be really happy to know that.
Very nice.
And then we move on to the RS18Us, which are CP Rail, chop nose, Canadian National RSC14s, and then we have a list of second run RS11s that will be coming. Everything from New Haven right through to Northern Pacific, Penn Central, a whole bunch of different ones.
It's plastic brass. The detail is exquisite.
Well, yeah, that is real brass. It's brass 2.0, basically. Our new Roar Turbo train.
That's beautiful. Can I touch it?
You can pick it up. Yep.
Daniel, this is gorgeous. This is just like the prototype photos that I remember seeing when I was a child.
Yep. I remember walking through it as a kid.
Right.
Niagara Falls that came in, and they took me on a tour. I'm 10 years old. Then we have our new Bombardier commuter cars.
Okay.
These just hit the market about a week ago. So you can see the underframes on it. We have full roller bearing axles on them. They're all electrical pickup bit cars. The cab car, which we don't have here, has full functioning end lights. And it also has a 21-pin board in there to put a decoder with speaker. So if you want to do the bell and the horn, it's all equipped for you. And that. Moving on along down here, we have our new sodium chloride cars. These are used in the paper industry, moving sodium chloride for bleaching of the paper. We have 2 versions with the safety rails and without the safety rails. And that.
It's amazing that the pre-production samples look so beautiful. You almost don't want to paint them,
up,
right?
Exactly. We have the barrel ore cars for Canadian National and O&R. They were released a few months ago. They're out on the market now. Then we have our new 66-foot Canadian bulkhead flats in 4 different versions.
4 different versions.
Different jack pads, different end bulkheads, different end sheets, different decking. So you can cover all the Canadian cars as well as the BNSF cars that came about.
Very beautiful.
And then the only other thing I have on here are the Canadian truck trailers, which are over there, the 2 small ones near Matt.
Okay.
And Matt has the American versions there. And I'll pass you over to Matt.
Matt Gentry, look at these beautiful lumber load cars. What are the technical term for those?
Those are 73-foot center beam cars.
Okay.
That is the NSC prototype. And those, along with some locomotives we'll get to in a second, that is what literally showed up at my door 20 minutes before I got in the car to come to this show.
Nice.
So I saw them for the first time, just like all the RPM attendees saw them for the first time Friday morning. So this is sort of what I'm saying, the really early phase build with the zigzag roof, and then the later phases is whenever they went to the solid roof panels, and then also the deck without the risers on it. So multiple different variations, multiple different paint schemes. I mean, there are thousands of these cars, and really large opening for us to come in with this car. So
That's
really
fantastic.
looking forward to it.
I wouldn't cover them up with wood.
I know, they're beautiful, aren't they?
Yes.
Again, don't want to paint them.
Right.
And then the other big surprise that we had for the show were the first samples of our Emd Gp38 locomotives.
Okay.
On the right, the first one that Daniel's looking at there, that would be the Santa Fe prototype. And then the other one here is the Southern with the high hood.
Okay.
So multiple different versions that we're doing with these, multiple different body details, body variances for the first announcement run that we're doing for all the different road names.
And now those are going to come with sound?
Sound and DCC or DC silent.
Okay.
And then moving on, we've got some of our early samples of the Northeast Caboose. That's a Bill Schneider project. And then we've got some of Bill's X3 tank cars. These are some early tooling samples again. These are still getting some tweaks and fine-tuning done to them before they enter full production. Back over here, we've got the American Freudhoff trailers. We've got, that would be a 40-foot exterior post trailer.
They're all different.
And then this one here is a 35-foot integral post trailer. And then this one here is a 40-foot insulated reefer trailer.
That's a lot of different inventory products to keep track of.
It is.
And this is a?
That's the 20-foot.
20 foot. 26 foot.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
And as we keep moving down the tables here, we've got some of our late tooling sample U25Bs. These are getting ready to go into production, so this is basically what the models are going to look like. We were pretty happy with the injection shots on this one and gave the thumbs up, and off we go.
Very nice.
And then moving on, this is some early sample FA locomotives.
FAs. Right.
FA2s.
I bet you're coming. Are you coming out with those in Missouri Pacific?
These are the Canadian versions
Canadian?
right here.
Okay.
So no MP on that.
Not yet. Not ever, actually, right?
So, right.
And then these are PAs, correct?
So then these are our production samples of our much anticipated Alco PAs. Those just landed at the warehouse in Toronto this past week. So those should be showing up at people's door probably within the next 2 weeks, I would say.
They're exquisite.
And beautiful.
I used to have a set of those made by, I believe it was Oriental or Key, and they were plated in brass.
Mm-hmm.
But you've created that effect on these models.
Right. We've got some special painting techniques that we've worked with on our factories to get that really reflective shine back on the models.
It's beautiful, Matt.
And then we've got some of our production samples of our auto-flood-free rapid discharge coal hopper. This has been one of the best-selling projects that Rapido has come out with, and they're on the water right now on their way to North America. I'm super excited about these coming because A, I'm a coal hopper dork, but also this is my first project with Rapido.
Very cool. I love the coal load. It's very nice.
So those are on the way. And then
Oh,
Right.
look at the interior
brace,
detail, right?
Interior detail, the way we designed the car with the sides to be separate, we were able to put all the rivets on the inside of the car and have the K-members in there just like the prototype car. So this is, in my opinion, the highest detailed rapid discharge coal hopper on the market.
That's very cool.
So and then
wait, there's more.
Yeah, there's still more. This is one of our early tooling samples of the Bud Slumber Coach. So they're still working out a couple of design and tooling tweaks on this car. So those are still open for pre-order, and they'll be getting ready to go into production on those probably next year sometime. So
very cool.
Hopefully we'll see a Missouri Pacific of that.
I would say the Missouri Pacific might be possible.
Okay.
So, and then these are production samples of the Procore P75 5820 plastic pellet hopper car.
Okay.
These just got reviewed within the last couple of weeks, and those should have just shipped from the factory this past week as well. So they'll be showing up in North America in about the next 8 to 10 weeks, I would think, as long as there's no shipping issues.
Fantastic. And I see N-scale stuff here.
Yep, and we have N-scale stuff. This is the AutoFlood 3 in N-scale, and this is a production sample. I just got those this week.
Okay.
And so they'll be wrapping up production on those within the month of August and shipping.
Okay.
And then the B100 box car in N-scale. Those are about to land and should be at the warehouse in Toronto within the next couple weeks.
Very cool. And to round it out, I see N-scale passenger cars.
That's right. We got our Bud N-scale passenger cars. What's the prototype on those, Dan?
These are the Canadian cars.
Oh, it's the Canadian cars. All right.
Same as the HOs we did a few years back, but now they're coming in.
Very nice. You guys have got so much new product here. It's amazing you can keep track of all it, but I'm so happy that you're doing this for the modelers out there.
That's right.
So, talking to the gentleman at Rapido, I'll tell you what, this was a very good segment with a lot of neat stuff. I'm getting tongue-tied. This is amazing. I'm standing here with Aaron Piotrowski, and the one thing we said in the opening of this video is that there's been a lot of spring up new companies that are offering 3D printed models that have never been available before in our hobby. And Aaron, I want to say you are the youth in the hobby. As you said, you are 20 years old.
Yep.
Congratulations, and thank you for doing what you're doing for us in the hobby. Tell us the name of your company and describe some of your products.
Well, my name is Aaron Piotrowski. This is Apogee Locomotive Works, and a lot of our products are detail parts and freelance and prototype shell kits.
Okay.
A lot of our shell kits for the prototype stuff is designed to be kind of an open canvas. So the concept is to have a locomotive shell kit that has all the detail except for the defining detail. So that little 28-tonner down there could be an electric interurban switcher, it could be a little gas mechanical diesel, it could be anything. And it's a really good opportunity to turn something that's kind of daunting, something that's kind of intimidating like locomotive kit building, and turn it into something that's open, something that, you know, a beginner can take or an expert can take, something that, you know, kind of redefines it in a new way.
So you've done a lot of research, you've got great packaging, that's a lot of work in itself, but you've also probably thought about the various mechanisms to power some of these models with. Is there a website or a place where this stuff can be seen?
Yes, we have a website, apogeelocoworks.com. you can take a look at all our shell kits, all our detail parts, some of our more structural stuff like drawbars, frames, and we're constantly adding more stuff because, well, it's a big hobby and there's a lot of prototype, there's a lot of freelance stuff to do. There's so many things that can be innovated in the hobby. And yeah, so Apogee Loco Works is our website. And yeah.
How many years have you been doing this now?
Well, I've been doing Apogee Locomotive Works for about 2 years now. I started, early July July 4th of last year. And ever since then, I've just been adding more and more shell kits. I only started doing the freelance stuff about this year.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. We hope that the folks enjoy this and go to your website and check it out.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to be here.
I'm standing here with one of our most favorite manufacturers and one of our most favorite salespeople, Jim Wiggin from Athearn Trains in Champaign, Illinois. How are you?
I'm doing great, Ken. How about yourself?
Fantastic. Now, you've been with Athearn now for 2 years. Tell me, how much do you love working in the hobby?
You know what? I get out of bed every morning, just can't wait to get to work. I love it. Absolutely
awesome.
love it.
That's awesome. And you guys are working partially remote and now in-house again. So things are starting to get a little back to normal, aren't they?
That's right, Ken. We're doing a hybrid schedule. And 2 days a week we go into the office, and you know what? It's good. It's
That's
good to see
absolutely
everybody.
fantastic. Now, I've seen your Athearn Tuesday show that you guys produce.
Yes.
It's getting a lot of views, and you guys have got some good production quality values now as you do it. But you've announced a lot of new products now that are coming out. Why don't you summarize a few of those for us today?
Yeah, let me tell you 2 big projects that we've got, okay? California 2 and California Cars, HO Scale Genesis.
Nice.
They are the most ambitious project we've ever had. We work very closely with Amtrak on these. Just the lighting alone, there's 25 LEDs in each car.
Wow.
Interiors are painted to match the prototype. So these are going to be the most prototypical modern day passenger cars you can get.
Okay.
Genesis level, and they've got sound.
Yes.
So, you know, station stop announcements, we got it.
I saw that the new Veranda turbine that's coming out, you guys have revolutionized the use of sugar cube speakers to give that sound its depth. And I hear you're putting 2 of those into Verandas. Talk about that.
Oh, we're not only doing that, but like our U50s, we're putting 4.
4 of them.
4 sugar cube speakers in there, dynamic sound.
That's absolutely awesome. So you're going to be here for 2 days at the show.
Absolutely.
Have you been spending any money?
Well, maybe a little bit. You can't not spend some money when you come to a RPM like this.
That's awesome. Next time I get out to Champaign, I'll buy you lunch. How's that?
That sounds like a great plan. I know a place.
So with that, thank you, Jim, for sharing your new products and some of the things on this show. Is there anything else before we close this one?
Well, you know what? Like I always say, do some good modeling, be kind to others, and high greens.
That's awesome. Be sure to check out the Athearn Tuesday show that they do every week announcing the new products.
All right. Thank you, Ken. Pleasure to see you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks.
Every year at the RPM meet, we always talk to Steve Hurt because Steve is always making a new large-scale model, it seems like every year, and this year you've done it again. Tell us about this, and this is an amazing model between us right here, and we're going to shoot B-roll and show it as you talk about it. Tell us about this caboose, this restaurant.
Yeah, this is a caboose. It used to be in Buda, Texas. It was made from the Frisco's number 1700 caboose. It got moved there, turned into a restaurant, and stayed there a few years like that before eventually it got moved. The land's been developed and it's long gone, but I stumbled onto a picture of it one night And immediately, like most of my projects, it just clicked. I said, I've got to have that, and started in. And I started this. This was originally going to be my 2020 project. And then when we couldn't do a show, we kind of got sidelined, but it was for this year. So, it's come together, got it finished up. And
now you took a USA Trains, is that the name of the company?
Correct.
That made
Correct.
the original wide vision caboose.
Correct.
And then you had to modify it. Tell us what you had to do.
Yes,
to it.
the Frisco's 1700 series cabooses were made out of old 40-foot PS1 box cars.
Okay.
And so I had the USA Trains, the caboose they had was the wrong length, obviously, the wrong sides to it, windows and all that, but it at least gave me a starting point. So I could take it apart. I made the stretch in it, which was about 2 inches I had to add to the model.
Okay.
And then I built a new cupola for it, new windows, drip edges, all that. Then I could cut in the new window locations, add all that. I had to strip the roof walks off and then make the pieces where the roof walk should have been,
Right.
to make it look like it had just been removed by the railroad.
And you built picnic tables, and you've got,
Yes.
now this is a Mexican restaurant now,
Correct.
right? Okay.
Yes.
And you showed me the bottles, the Corona bottles have
Yes.
lemons in them.
Yes, a friend of mine that owns a company called 3 Inches Under is a resin caster, and Jim Schultz is his name. He found out about my project. We lived near each other, and he said he would help me out, and he made little Corona bottles, and then he printed the Corona labels for me for being in a Mexican restaurant. And so when I put them together, then I made little limes to put in the bottom of it. And I've got to give my son Dominic credit, because it was his idea that he thought they all needed smashed limes in the bottom. So
Right.
he got the credit for that. The rest of it, I made the picnic tables and made the silverware, all the trash bags, the trash to go with it, the deep freeze, the refrigerators, all that are all made from blocks of Wren board or basswood. I cover it with styrene, then I can glue on the pieces I want from there. So all they're all scratch built from blocks like that, and then just built up until they looked like what was in the prototype. So I got lucky. I found 8 or 10 pictures of the prototype while I was searching for things, which is more than I usually have for a project. So even though it wasn't easy to build from, it was at least I had something that I had both sides and the ends and everything. So
Okay. So far, all the video everybody's seen is with this tin roof off of it.
Yeah.
Why don't you put the roof on and show
Yeah.
us how that goes?
It looks better with the tin roof on. It just sets on top. It looks more realistic that way, but it makes it so dark underneath it's hard for anybody to see, and I want to be able to check out what's underneath. So if you look at on the inside of it, I've made like like somebody just walked away from a meal or end of a busy night. So there's the cups, the silverware. The menus are in the things, the hot sauce, green and red. There's menus, and part of it's in Spanish on there. So, trying to make it as close to the pictures as I could find.
I'm going to get on the other side of you, because Joshua probably had a hard time filming that.
Yeah.
I know, right? But the B-roll will make it up.
Yep.
Joshua, thank you for running camera for us.
Yes,
we love you,
always.
buddy. And Steve, I just am blown away at your work. Your artistry is
thank you.
amazing. I want to thank you so much for the What's Neat vehicle that you gave us last year.
Yes.
We have it proudly displayed in the
Nice,
studio.
that's good. I love it.
And I hope to have you out tomorrow night. To
Yes,
be
absolutely.
with us on the show.
Yep, I'd love to be. So I always enjoy it. So.
All right, Steve, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ken.
I'm here with Chris Palmieri from Home Shops, and this is a relatively new company that we would like to talk about here. Chris, tell me some about some of the stuff that you got going on.
Well, we've got, for the first time ever at a show, in stock, all 7 road names of our very first car, which are tangent scale models, PS 4750 covered hoppers, done in 7 road names. And we're selling them here at the show for $50 a piece. Also very excited, Dave Lelbeck of Tangent put that V&O tank car on our table yesterday. That is the factory sample of our second car. We worked very closely with Brad and Alan McClelland of the V&O and have come up with a company service car. And our third production model is these 86-foot tangent scale models box cars. They're in production right now at the factory in 7 road names, and we hope to have them in December, maybe January, shipping conditions cooperating. And we also have for sale this painting, lithograph by Robert West. It depicts a shop setting with all 7 cars of our first road name in a shop setting being worked on by mechanical employees. So we've got that here as well.
Wow, how long have you been established as a company?
I launched this company in January of last year. January of 2021. And this factory order was placed in April of last year by Tangent, and we just got them in a couple of months ago. So it's a lengthy process to get the cars in.
Wow, you were definitely off and running. They're so beautiful. The names are great. I know you've done a lot of personal work on some of them that we've reflected on the What's Need show. So I'm just flabbergasted by what you have, and Mike Buddy's going to love those cars.
Yes, he will. I appreciate the compliments and the kind words.
Well, thanks for coming, and we look forward to what you're having next after this.
Awesome. We will do our best not to disappoint.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Joshua.
Hi, I'm here with Dave Leilbach from Tangent Models, and what amazing things he has on the table. What are these boxcars all about, Dave?
Well, thanks for coming over here. Yeah, we have some new Gunderson Brothers 50-foot exterior post high cube boxcars here at the RPM meet. We have them in 4 paint schemes. We have SP, DRGW, Golden West in the blue, and Cotton Belt in a 1980s version. We also have kits available for all of our products.
Very nice. I know these high cube box cars are just going nuts. I know my buddy buys one every time we go out. He probably has 3 or 4 dozen of them, and they're just amazing. And I cannot stop talking about these cabooses here. The Illinois terminal are just amazing. Tell me a little bit more about those.
Sure. We offered those cabooses last year in September. We offered them in several Illinois terminal schemes. The red ones from the original red ones, and then several of the repaints, a 1979 one, and also a 1972 or so football one. We're really into the IT cars, and they match that New York Central prototype really nicely. So it really worked out well for us. It's a caboose that I originally was going to start Tangent with. That was one of the things we're going to start off our company with. So
very nice. And how long have you guys been established?
Tangent was we first announced Tangent at the Detroit National Train Show, and we had our Pullman Standard 4740 covered hopper at that show. It was the first time anyone had ever heard of Tangent. We had products for sale that day, and people were like, who is this company?
That's a great shock and awe method to start your company. So I love all the wares you have. Thanks for coming to the RPM, and thanks for talking with me.
Well, thanks so much. I personally watch the show every week, and I'm a big fan, so thanks to you guys and all the work that you guys do to make this thing happen.
Well, thanks for watching, and thanks all you for watching too.
I'm standing here with Bill Denton and this amazing Modutrack N-scale layout. Now you remember Bill from last year. He shared with us those amazing city modules with that code 40 track and hand-laid switches in N-scale, which was absolutely magnificent in last year's RPM show that we presented. But today, Bill, you're standing among this beautiful modular layout that takes up the entire center hallway of the convention center here. Tell us about this work of art.
Thanks, Ken. Well, this is N-scale Modutrack, and we have about 25 modules here today. We do have more that we could bring. The layout itself is about 60 feet by 10 feet. We have been as big as 60 feet by 40 feet. We're running out of trailer space, actually.
Okay.
But the group started out in the Chicago area, but now we have, and it's just a bunch of friends. We're not actually a club or anything. There's no formal organization or meetings or dues or anything. We just get together at about 3 or 4 train shows a year and run our trains.
Very cool. Now this is built at a great height where you can actually see it. It's built for adults to look at. What is the height of this?
It's 53 inches, and somebody measured it yesterday because he didn't believe me.
Okay.
But that's the whole idea, was we wanted it up at a height where people could actually see N-scale instead of looking down on the tops of everything.
Right. That's a great idea. What's the minimum radius on this layout?
Well, we don't really have a minimum. We have really big curves. Excuse me.
Right.
They're, I think, about 60-inch.
60-inch curves. They're beautiful.
Radius.
When I see trains going through that curve,
yes,
it looks so realistic.
And thanks, and they're super elevated as well.
That's awesome. I also noticed you didn't use rail joiners on this, that the modules butt together and the rail matches up, doesn't it?
Correct. It saves a lot of time in setting up the layout.
Okay.
Yes. We are using Atlas Code 55 track for the most part.
Okay.
Although my older modules, which were the first ones were built, uses the Pico Code 55 track.
It's beautiful rail. It's just absolutely amazing. So you set this up for about 4 different train shows around the Midwest, I guess.
Yes, generally in the Midwest. Wisconsin, Indiana, Illinois area.
Do you have a place where you guys can enjoy this and set it up when you guys want to run it?
Not currently.
No.
We did in the past.
Okay.
And hopefully sometime in the future we will, but as of right now, no.
What kind of system do you use to power this beautiful layout?
It's Digitrax.
Digitrax.
Yes.
Very cool. What else would you like to describe about this?
Well, it's kind of loosely based on Milwaukee Road and Chicago and Northwestern towns in the Midwest. And most of the prototype locations have been researched, and we kind of copied the track as it was in the towns, and even some of the buildings are scratch built to reflect the locations.
Now, you were discussing this with me yesterday. This is one of the modules that you built, and Joshua's going to move in and shoot these structures as you talk about the train station that you built off of plans.
Yes, this is New Lisbon, Wisconsin, which is roughly halfway between the Chicago and the Twin Cities, and it's where I rode the train as a child, and I have great memories, and I think that's where I got hooked on trains and model trains. So I always wanted to build this location. So the station is scratch built out of styrene. It had a stucco exterior. I was fortunate to get the plans for the depot, and also I wanted to point out that little building in the back was a candy store, and I remember going in there and getting candy with my mom and my grandmother, and they sold Coca-Cola and burgers in there as well.
That's awesome. And you said this module next to it is a continuation of the scene.
Yeah, the next module is it has a Y on it, and it's a branch line that went up to Wausau. Actually, it's still there on the Milwaukee Road. There's not much left in New Lisbon. There's one main track through town. But the branch line up to the north is still there.
This is absolutely exquisite. I mean, this is seriously one of the center point layouts of the show.
Oh, thank you.
It truly is beautiful. I've got to tell you, Bill, thank you so much for sharing this with the viewers of What's Neat.
Oh, thanks for stopping by, Ken. We enjoyed it too.
So that's it. You've seen the 15th annual RPM meet here in St. Louis and Collinsville, Illinois. It was a great show in that they had about 650 attendees at the show, over 85 tables, I think he said, full of models.
It's amazing.
It was absolutely amazing. And did you spend any money, James?
Yes, I did.
Well, he just bought that whole table of Santa Fe's there, and we're not going to divulge the price, but he needs a new home.
It was absolutely amazing. Daniel, what did you think about the show?
I think it was great, despite the fact that I was working yesterday, but being able to come here today, phenomenal models, great sales, great camaraderie, and a lot of fun.
There you go. Joshua, what do you think?
A lot of good friends. I'm glad to see everyone again this year. I'm already anticipating next year.
Yes, the 16th annual RPM meet.
Absolutely.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah, that's right.
Guys, this is the best hobby in the world, and this is ending the RPM video for What's Neat.
Let's go to your house and run some trains.
All right.
Yeah. All of the products seen on this episode of What's Neat are available from Lombard Hobbies in Lombard, Illinois, or order online at lombardhobby.com. Bachmann Trains. Now that's the way to run a railroad. Check out their website at bachmanntrains.com.